Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to this to the last webinar of the year. Actually, we didn't schedule anyone before the end of the year, so I will see you again in the next webinar in 2017. I hope you can all hear me well. If not, we'll just write it in the chat box right at the bottom of the screen. Again, if you followed all the previous webinars we held, well, you know that you can ask anytime, any question you want. Just write them in the chat box while I speak, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar, and we will try to answer them all. It will be, you can ask either technical or commercial questions. Just feel free to share with us all the doubts you may have about CMDBuild. So today we're here to introduce the new release of CMDBuild Ready2Use, which is now the version 1.1. Just a few numbers. I try to calculate the number of hours we invested into the development of this new version. So going from version 1.0 to 1.1, and it's something looks like 1,287 hours of work, which is not bad, I think. For an open source tool, just to invest so many hours just to going from version 1.0 to 1.1, I think that's something good. But you will see there's a lot of new features behind all these hours of work. There's a lot of new improvements we did, and I will show them to you today. We also try to think about, to estimate the number of IT assets that are currently managed with CMDBuild and CMDBuild Ready2Use, well, which is our, of course, pre-configured version for the IT management of CMDBuild. Well, that's a big number, probably like more than 1 billion of IT assets that are worldwide managed by our IT management tool, CMDBuild, and CMDBuild Ready2Use. That's an impressive number. It really grew up a lot during the last years. We see it growing up even more in the next years, and that's something that really makes us proud. We're very, very happy about it, that the community out there is catching up very quickly all the new improvements we do, and they share with us the pathwalk that we took and the roadmap that we're actually following. Right now in the CMDBuild Ready2Use, there are four pre-configured workflows that are available out of the box. So if you download the CMDBuild Ready2Use from our website, from SourceForge, you will just find straight away 4 workflows. You can also, of course, create any new one that you wish, or you can ask us to do it for you, and that's what we do basically every day. So, well, just feel free if you got any specific need and you cannot find any tool out there that could actually answer your needs. Well, just give a try to CMDBuild, and I would say 99.9% of the times our users are happy to find to discover that actually CMDBuild is the right answer for very specific needs. So going to today's topics. Well, the new CMDBuild Ready2Use 1.1 version is, of course, based on the CMDBuild 2.4.2. Of course, CMDBuild is an older project. It started around 15 years ago, so of course we did a lot more about CMDBuild itself, and then it came CMDBuild Ready2Use a couple of years ago, and so we are now just at the version 1.1. CMDBuild 2.4.2 was released on November the 24th, And then after that, we released OpenMain and CMDBuild Ready2Use, which of course are both based on the CMDBuild, and they share the great majority, I would say 95% probably of the source code of CMDBuild. What it is different is just the skin color. So today we're going to talk about the extension of the data model with the new entities that we created and inserted into the tool. We will then also talk about the possibility that have to access to the service desk. Also, if you are an external client, so your external clients, customers can easily access to the service desk. We will talk also about the dynamic work orders. Now there's a new different way of creating and following the workflows that we created that end up with creating work orders, and we'll talk about it later, and I will show you how this whole all works. We did some refactoring also on the schedule maintenance. We improved a lot on it. Then we created a new feature so that you can now also set that the incident workflow starts when external events happen. I will get to that in a few slides. We then created and introduced into the tool, and you find them just as you download the tool, new reports and dashboard for the control of the incidents and the requests, the tickets that are open, and as SLA. Now also with CMDB Ready2Use, it is possible to print and of course to read QR codes or barcodes just by scanning them with the mobile app of CMDB Ready2Use. There's also additional reports that we created for showing the list of expiring warranties. All right, so going into better details, what we'll do today is that we'll just go through these quite quickly. I will just go through these new elements that we created that I just listed. Just spend a few words on every of them, and then I will get my hands on the keyboard, and then I will show you from within the tool how all these was implemented into the tool itself, and I will share the screen with you and let you see how it all works. So the extension of the data model was mostly done because, well, when we thought about CMDB Ready2Use, we wanted to develop a tool that was helpful for those who needed to manage a lot of IT assets within their company, and not really for external clients. Now, actually, we received a lot of requests from our users to actually use CMDB Ready2Use for managing their own IT assets, of course, but at the same time to manage IT assets for their customers. So now we developed, we restructured the database structure to make it more similar, well, to let it follow more easily this new request. So now the users, the external clients, the external users, the customers can access to the self-service portal, which I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, and open tickets whenever they have any requests, or when an incident happens, or whenever they need to get in touch with the company that is providing them an IT service. So for this reason, we created new entities such as the customer employee, the group companies, new technological infrastructure. This is something we will see in just a few minutes. So also, just as I said, for this reason, we let the access to the service desk also by external client. So we worked hard on the self-service portal interface so that the companies, all the companies, or our customers, our users could offer to their users a very user-friendly interface to access to open a ticket, submit a request, or open an incident, or ask for information. Or as now it is very easy, very straightforward, and so your customers, your user will be very, well, I guess that's what we hope, will be very happy with all these new features that we recently developed. We also worked hard, as I said before, on the dynamic work orders. You can now create dynamic work orders that just basically streamlines the entire workflow process in a dynamic environment. You can now, during the workflow, you can now either follow a predefined path, or you can add new field during the workflow itself, so the work orders that are generated follow different paths for example, from a list that you choose. We're going to see this, how this work in just a second on as soon as I will get my hands on the keyboard. So we also did some extended refactoring of the schedule maintenance. There's a new algorithm that works either on a preset calendar or on alarms or threshold. We also implemented this new feature into OpenMain, and I would invite you to watch the OpenMain webinar that we recorded 2 weeks ago, where we discussed this further. Basically, again, as I said, CMDBuild is the shares the same source code as CMDBuild READY2USE and OpenMain. So usually all the new elements that we introduced into CMDBuild, of course, they go also and fall also into CMDBuild READY2USE and OpenMain. So it's most likely that you will find them in both tools, the same structure. It is not possible to start incidents by external events. So now, for example, from they automatically trigger the maintenance workflow. For instance, it is interesting that the Chamber of the Deputies in Rome, they used this new feature to automate the reception of the calls, and so the ticket opening process. Basically, what happens is that the help desk receives a call, and automatically the tool CMDBuild recognizes the caller and automatically fulfills all the information from the caller, from the date, the day, the time when the call happened, and of course also with the information of the person of the help desk that received the call and answered it, automatically starting a process for a ticket opening. So this saves a lot of time, avoids any possible mistake, and it is extremely helpful. So this is just a quick example, just came up in my mind to show you how this could work. An external event, someone calling on the phone, can trigger a workflow, an incident workflow, or maintenance request workflow, or whatever you need. We also introduced new report dashboard, so you can have a better overview over the mean time between failure and service level agreement that you have with your customers and with your users. So it is now easier and quicker to have this whole overview. It is now possible, as I said before, to print and of course to scan with our mobile app the QR code that is associated to your asset. This is an example. Of course we have QR codes on all our assets. Now this one is a big one that I just printed out just for showing you, and I took this picture. So it is extremely easy. You just go there, you scan the code, and you get all the information you need. You know, if the tool is available, if not, if who it belongs to, and all the information you insert it into your database. So it is extremely easy and fast to do, of course. We then have a view. It's not really a report, it's a view with all the list of all the expiring warranties. So you can have the control. You can set an amount of days, and you can have a control over all the expiring warranties. So you know which ones are have a warranty so that is expiring soon or anytime soon. Well, this is not everything that we worked on. There's a lot of other features that we developed. We worked on the workflow, and especially on the change management work order, the request fulfillment work order, the QR code generator. This is we talked about it. We did some improvements in incoming email management. On the reports side, we worked on reports that show you the active tickets, the tickets that are currently open in an open state, in a specified date, in a specified date interval, and the barcode print, of course, the service desk, the dashboard report, the LLDP connector and summary, and then also on the dashboard side, we created a new one for the or showing all the active tickets for the service desk, and also we worked on the connector for network discovery, the LLDP. Okay, well, I think that it was just a quick overview of what we did recently with the version 1.1. I think I could now go and get my hands on the keyboard and show you from inside the tool what this all looks like. Meanwhile, don't forget that you can ask all the questions you want. Just write them in the chat box, and I will get to them at the end of the webinar. Okay. So let me just move to the. Let me just move to my desk. All right. I hope you can. I hope you can all see the screen that I'm sharing with you. Okay, so this is the well, this is the well, this what we call the standard interface of CMDBuild Ready2Use. This is basically what you get if you download it from out of the box. This is what you see. What we created new was right in the classes. For example, this field here, this class here didn't exist before, and we just created, which contains the information about the physical and the virtual disks. Then we, in the infrastructure, this one as well is something new we just created. This contains all the information about the discovery tools, such as, for example, VMware, and where, so it shows where, how the assets let's say, was discovered. But what I would like to show you more is about the company here. This is all new. This is especially intended to manage the customers coming from, so the assets that belong to the customers, that are in use by the customer, and that that you want to manage with the CMDBuild Ready2Use, and that you so that can be the object of tickets that are open, or they could on which your user, your customers can have a request. So for you got here the corporate group, the customer, the supplier, and for each one of them there's the employee subclass. So well then when we also created some new classes here, but what the main the main new elements and that we created in the database structure, that which of course changed a bit the whole kind of philosophy of the tool, was were these three. Going to the processes and to the dynamic work order generation, what I wanted to show you is this thing here. Well, here you got all the processes that you find in the CMDBuild Ready to Use, uh, which are available again just as you download the tool. So what I would like actually to show you today is the request fulfillment workflow. So the request fulfillment basically is just as the words say, it happens. It is open when someone, your customer or someone from within your company, needs to submit a request. This request could be for example, the need of a new laptop. So what the help desk does, he will need the header will need to fulfill these values here. So the channel through which they receive the request, it could be there an email, by phone, or well, fax. Of course, all these values here would be automatically fulfilled in case that the request would be coming from the self-service portal, which is what the users, what you would ask your user to use. So they would just go here. Of course, here you could change anything you want, the colors, the skin, the logos. You can really make it look like your web page, the web page of your company. And I'm sorry, and really don't let your users know that they are actually using CMDBuild. So it really could be really customized. They would just click here and submit the service request and submit the request. So then the help desk would find automatically fulfill all these elements. Now let's pretend that the request came by phone. So I am the help desk right now. The requester was, let's say, whoever, Anderson Aaron, and it was a request type for service. And Aaron, well, let's say he needs a new laptop, so he needs to be assigned a new corporation laptop. It is quite urgent because otherwise he cannot do anything. He's just locked there. Short description, you can just write Aaron, there's a two, probably Aaron needs, I'm sorry, needs a new laptop a zap. You can also write an extended description if you wish, but for now we're just the short description is just fine, and it is mandatory. Okay, so now you got the first part of the dynamic work order. You can now request additional fields, so you can select which we didn't select any laptop to assign, unfortunately. Or you can upload attachment. You can request to additional fields, for example, or and this would make the work order go into one direction. Or you can, of course, you can select another request additional fields. Not sure why. And I cannot. There's no because there's no. Yeah, we didn't set any PC that available. Or let's see if we can find one and select it here. Okay, just let me see if I infrastructure. Let me see if there's where is it? Okay. Okay, so notebooks, there was not one free, so that's why you could not assign it to anybody. This was just a yeah, just the reason why we didn't. This is just some bulk data we have into this instance here, and we didn't all the PCs that were already taken. It looks like there's a small issue here. I don't understand why. Okay, now there we go. Okay, so okay. So I will just share the screen again. I will just probably because I clicked it. I just clicked it. Hope you can see. I'm very sorry for this small problem here. I hope you can see the screen again. I think I closed it for some mistake. What I just need to do is that I need to clone, for example, this PC here. Remove the assignee here and let's see, available. None of them were available. None of the notebooks here. Okay, now it's okay. I'm great. None of the notebooks here were available. That's why you could not assign it to anybody. So now I cloned a new asset. This one right here. This will just put some brand Apple model, didn't put anything. So we'll just go back to the processes. This one is the one we opened before, coming from Aaron. So I would click now on request additional fields, and I will find my tools. Sorry, there's like it's not cooperating with me, but it is of course it's not. The tool is the PC that we are using for the webinars. That is, I think probably is already on Christmas vacation. Doesn't really want to cooperate. Let's try to refresh and see what happens. Very sorry for keeping you waiting. Just this is what happens when everything is live, and when we don't use the PC that we usually do, but when we do use those ones for the webinar. So well, anyways. Okay, so let's reopen it. Aaron needs a new laptop ASAP. Probably we also need a new laptop as soon as possible. I'll probably me myself. I need to open a kit. So now you see the available item right here. That is that we want to assign to Aaron Anderson. Now we're going to go to the next step. So this will be the category is already fulfilled, the category, the hardware client, the subcategory. The action, we're still the help desk now. We want to submit this as just a standard service request, and we can create a work order. We can check the work orders that will be created. So the network help desk expected time number. This is the work order that will be created with the with the process that we just started. This is just some information about the requester, a phone, an email, all the contacts of the requester, in case that the working team needs to, those that actually will go into the warehouse, take the laptop and bring it to Aaron. So they have all the information about the requester. This is the requests that were already made, particular requester. So well, today at 3:12 p.m. Aaron already requested a new service. He wanted to have a new account for service. Then well, these are all the contracts that you may have from the requester. If you want to upload an attachment, or if you want to check the email that are automatically going out at every step of the process. We'll go on now. We need to approve it and send it to the hardware help desk. Of course, here you always keep all the information during each step of the workflows. Okay, now it says what it says is lock message. Well, this means that now it is not the help desk working anymore on it, but it needs to be approved by someone else. Well, now I will just click on here and be the one that had the rights to approve the going on of the process. We'll just yeah. I am definitely opening a new ticket for getting a new PC because this one is just too slow. Okay, so now I will see that in the open work orders right here, I have the one coming from Aaron Anderson that wants that tells me to bring an available laptop to requester. This is the work order that has been automatically created by the system. I need to check, I need to input the execution time, how long it took me to do such activity. The expected time was 1 hour, and it also took me 1 hour just to go there and take the laptop and bring it to Aaron. In this case would be it was a success. In case you can also of course select the failure and keep the workflow going. Here I need to check, I need to select which laptop I assign to Aaron Anderson. I can also view the request data and all what happened during each step of the workflow, at what time and who did what. I can also edit notes, and I can see the emails that have been generated. In these steps, there's no email that is generated. In the next one there will be, of course. So I just click on advance, and now we will go back to the help desk. Now the one that is approving doesn't see anymore in the open because he already approved and went and accomplished the work order. So the work order here, of course, it's empty. Now we'll refresh the page, and there won't be any lock message anymore, but we will be able to approve it. So in this case, basically the work order was pretty straightforward, but as you could see, you could create a loop and make it follow different directions, select the item that you wanted to be included in the workflow. You could in the work order, sorry, you could tell the working team to go and get that specific item. Before it was not possible. Before it was just possible to tell the working team to go and get a laptop with these features, and you could not select which ones were among the ones available, as we just did. We had to create a new one and made it available, and So it was now, before it was just you could only describe the kind of laptop that Aaron Anderson wanted to have. Now you can actually select it, and the specific one that is in the state available. Um, we also something I forgot to tell you before. It was about the localization. We worked hard also on the possibility to localize the in a quite an easy way to localize your own specific version of your own specific CMDB ready to use, and it is extremely extremely easy way. And of course, if it is an open source project, so if you would like to contribute and share with us the translations, the localizations that you did, well, feel free to do so by going into our web page and go under how to localize your tool. Here is the list report. Click here on the report. Here's the list of all the reports that are available. So these are the two that we talked about before, the active tickets in a specified date. There was the hardware help desk, wallet date, we could do wallet, let's see, all the active tickets. So this one was open on the 12th. Of course, we won't find the one that we just created because this one here was closed. Ticket status, this one is closed. It took us 12 minutes. So this one is the one we will just find, and of course it says closed. So it is quite interesting to see all the tickets that are open, how many are still open, how many are in the execution, and how many have been closed, and how long it took for each ticket to be closed. So you can automatically here check with the with your service level agreement that you have with your customers if you are fulfilling them or not. This is on a specified date, on a specified date interval, so from the 10th to the 12th of December, how many active tickets were during those days, the report for printing the barcode, and then we got the average closing time for the incident management, the open process for the incident management. Well, you got a lot of reports here you can that are already available as soon as you download the tool. Here is a new view that we created. This one is that shows the expiring warranties. Here, of course, there's only one, the one we created. In the warranty expiration, he says on the 19th of December, and so because I selected just to show me those expiring in the next 10 days. Okay, so someone is asking to show the mean time between failure report, and I will do it with pleasure. Again, this is some bulk data, so I'm not sure that there is a notebook. Probably we do have. Let's say, well, we didn't. Well, the problem is that we didn't have any we didn't do any failure process. I'm not sure. Maybe for the desktop computer, there's any. Well, basically here you would just see we didn't create any we didn't perform any failure process, so that's why there's no this report here is completely empty. You would see here the item code, the serial number of the item, brand, the model, when it was installed, how many times it I've reported to fail, for how long the downtime was. And of course the mean time between failures, how many days have passed from one failure to the second one. I would invite you anyways to sorry, we didn't set up the data for showing you this report. I will do it definitely during the next webinar if you wish, or I would suggest you to get in touch with our commercial team, and they will be more than happy to show you a full field report. So I think that well, for today it's a bit. I thank you very much. Really would like to thank you very much for taking part to this webinar. It's nice to see that so many of you always follow our webinars. That is a great boost for us. I would like, of course, in 10 days will be Christmas, so I would like to wish you all a very happy Christmas, and of course a merry well, a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Again, I will see you in 2017 with new webinars. We are working hard on our 3 tools: CMDBuild, Ready2Use, and OpenMain. So just don't forget to follow our webpage and read our newsletters, and you will find all the information to get more of these webinars here with more information. Also, you can also send us a request. We can could be interesting to show you what you would like to see. For example, again, if you like to see how the mean time between failure report works, well, just feel free to provide it, and we can either do it just with you. Our commercial team will get in touch with you and show it to you how it works, or we could also doing this during the next webinar. Again, I wish you a Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and I will see you again in 2017. Bye bye. Ciao.